sort of kind of trying to agree with me too. So I'm gonna go over that. In fact, I might well start with that. Okay, if it's okay with y'all, I want to just start with that because I almost think. I mean, they got they did videos back to back. I ain't asked for them penning in royalties or nothing. Y'all all missing royalties on that, especially to pretend like you didn't know who I was, but to say without saying verbatim. So tonight we gonna play defense. Let me just make sure I got my helmet on in case somebody come try to hit me while I'm talking. Make sure I got. Let me get myself together. Make sure I got. I got still make sure I look cute up under the helmet while we go over some defense. And while we go over all the lies that was being told while I was away. So I know some of y'all heard it. All the lies that y'all was told while I was gone away from YouTube. Here goes. And for whoever just put that in my chat, let me start by saying, let me say this too. Let me say this. A lot of y'all be in my comment section talking about, oh, sister, if you can just cover up your boobs, people will take you more seriously. Oh, queen, empress, goddess, empress. Oh, just cover up your tits so people can respect you. I didn't come on YouTube asking for no goddamn respect. Either you get the information I'm giving you or get the fuck on. You talking about, oh, so people can take you seriously. You talking about the same girl who did a whole show on the land patents in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then Forbes went and did a write-up on my show. Talking about the Gurley family owning the land in Oklahoma. The Gurley family had never been talked about before. As it relates to them owning the land that was bombed in Tulsa. And you talking about the same girl who, when I shared what Forbes had put, they then reposted what I put. Just so you know it's real. So, for those hoteps who are up under my post, I'm like, please, can you just put your titties up? And then when I go on your page, you look like a mini version of me, except your titties sag. You be on your ashy ass knees praying 6 times a day to get a word from God, to just see God's face. And then when you see the gods that be in the flesh, you say it's too much flesh. I know Easter tomorrow. And before y'all put that royal crown grease on your head and use your straightening comb, let's just go over a few things. First off, somebody said I was right. There was a Masonic lodge here. The Masons were protecting the community and they were doing this and that. They were building buildings and stuff like that. Okay. Then they turned around and said the Masons are from Africa. Prince Hall was from Africa. I'm just gonna tell y'all straight up, okay? A lot of the older people who was around during the civil rights movement, who's still around, I don't listen to a lot of them. I ain't gonna tell y'all who to listen to, who not to listen to. But this is how I feel about the subject matter. If you was around an activist at the time that an activist was murdered, and you was the right-hand man and you still alive, that means you're a op. If you 70-something years old and you ain't never broke down Masonry like that, but then you want to come and try to debunk what I'm saying, talking about, oh, what we're going through, it's not a land war that we're going through. If it's not a land war that we're going through, you ain't got to comment on it. especially not less than 24 hours before I put up a video called Land Patent Wars talking about Masonry. Then you come and talk about Masonry, talking about it ain't no land war that we're going through, when clearly niggas is being killed. I don't respect a lot of these people, y'all. Y'all might respect them. I don't. Please click like when you come here. The slavery narrative, okay? The slavery narrative. It got to stop, y'all. It got to stop. There's a politician who's Geechee or Gullah. You know, and these people, they pretend like they're one of us. They say, oh, we deserve reparations. We deserve restitution. And in the same sentence will say they're from the Congo. What the fuck am I watching here? It looks like I'm watching a lot of good talking, no education having niggas that stand in the mirror and practice talking professionally, that practice articulating their words a certain way. But when you go up under the carpet, looks like these people have no degrees and they all have federal records. And if you have a federal record for forgery at this point, your ass don't need to be on YouTube trying to teach nobody shit. Look like I'm the only YouTuber out here that don't have a federal record. And I'm trying to see how so many criminals came over the education. How is so many criminals over the education section on YouTube? Riddle me this. I'm sick of hearing criminals talk on fucking YouTube. If you done been in federal prison, just sit down somewhere. Sit to the side. Because y'all got everybody confused. I'll talk about that later. Okay, now we got a new section of people out called, yes, Valerie, federal. These people done been to prison. And you know when you go to prison, you have to make little goofy deals with them people anyway. Yeah, everybody know that. I ain't even gonna deal with people who just went to jail. I'm talking about these people that went to full out prison. But got the loudest, biggest channels. To me, it's a count. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. Okay. A new section of people out called the freedmen. Okay. A new section of people out called the freedmen. And I said, well, damn. No, okay, so the indigenous thing, that wasn't good enough to do a counterintelligence mission on. Okay? So they came out, they sat around a square or round table and said, let's just come out as freedmen. That way we can keep the slavery narrative going and say we freed. So I'm going to kill two birds in one stone right now. For one, find me the Hall family, since Prince Hall is from Africa. Can somebody please find me the Hall family in the fuck Africa? The Hall family is probably the second most populous nigga name out of all of the nigga names. And now all of a sudden I'm off of line 2 weeks and the Hall family from fucking Africa. Not only that, I know a little bit about the Hall family. Because there's a term called freeholder. And the county where I'm from, where I grew up at, one of the freeholders in that county was the Hall family. Okay? Now, a lot of these good talking, non-educated niggas who, if they have a degree, is from some shit like ITT Tech, and shout out to the people who graduated from ITT Tech. But I don't want to see niggas online who graduated from ITT Tech teaching on this subject matter of reparations, restitution, and nigga history. Because you went to ITT Tech, for Christ's sakes. The degree probably didn't even count because I don't even think ITT Tech is accredited. Anyway, freeholder. Okay? Freeman and freeholder were one and the same. In fact, when you're talking about trying to mix this slave narrative in to say that Negroes in America need reparations due to slavery, everybody know you can't get reparations due to slavery. But see, they don't want y'all to go look at the slave records, okay? The slave schedules. Because when you go look at the slave schedule, I even put some in Cookie's Part 1. 2019, I put slave schedules in my documentary. It was white slaves too. Okay? So how is y'all talking about we want to get reparations because we are the freed slaves? 400, 500, 1,000 years of slavery. Knowing full well you can't get reparations based on slavery because that person had an actual job. They may not have been getting paid what they wanted to get paid. But there are slave schedules out there, guys. It ain't hard to find. Okay? Now go look up freeholder. And you'll see that these freemen had a whole heap of land. Y'all don't want to touch on the land subject matter, though, because y'all are counterintelligence. And I don't know whether you niggas is Army counterintelligence or some other counterintelligence regime of niggas from whatever round table or square table you niggas come from. But in order to do counterintelligence, you got to first be intelligent. See, I'll talk about that later. Freeholder. Okay? A lot of this land that the freeholders had is heirs' property. It just so happened a lot of this heirs' property from the freeholders. There were laws written around these freeholders. Okay? When they died, that was the end of them being a freeholder until an heir put them back on the land. So that person, that freeholder, his heirs had to do the same process he did in order to get that title to the land. Now that's what a lot of us are today. Although a lot of our ancestors wasn't called, freeholders. We ain't never heard the term freeholder as it relates to our ancestors, especially not as much as we heard the term free man. But what we do know, the freeholders and the free men had their own banking system. Not only that, they had their own court system. These people were on the towns as the owner of the counties, the townships, or whatever else they was on. Large chunks of land. Their courthouse is was called the ordinary courthouse. Now, I told people plenty of time to go to courthouses. These ordinary courthouse records are still available. A lot of them are available in hick towns. Some of these courthouses are now called probate court. Okay? Some of these courthouses are now called probate court, especially in a lot of these big cities. If you go into the probate court, look through the records. It was more than the Freeman's Bank. It was plenty of free banks that the freemen and the freeholders created. Now, one thing's for certain, two things for sure. You don't too much hear about white people being called freemen. So wouldn't y'all please kick that 400 years of slavery shit under the rug, or at least go and read the slave schedules to know ye that there were white ones too. So is you niggas fighting for white people or what? Because the Geechies done said they from the goddamn Congo, they came over here as slaves to cultivate rice. What the fuck? So the Geechees came over here to cultivate. This all stuff I learned in the past 2 weeks, y'all. The Geechees came over here to cultivate rice, guys, and they were slaves, but now they're speaking for us on political platforms. Now they want to run for Congress and Senate and every other position, president of the United States, as a former slave. And to attempt to get reparations for the fuck slavery. In an attempt to ignore the entire land situation. Now, for the other person, I'm going to put this list to the side. Very long, extensive list. Very long, extensive list of just bullshit.